I want to start this video off with a simple little question for you. I want you to imagine you're just a model citizen. You work a 9 to 5, you pay a mortgage, you pay your taxes, you have a young family. You're just living life how it should be lived by the book. I want you to tell me which one of these two you'd be more intimidated by. Now, I know I make a lot of jokes on this channel, but let's keep it serious for once. Number one, a modified car. It might have an open air intake, it might be a little bit low, and it might just be... And maybe this car has done a burnout in an empty industrial area at 2 a.m. And maybe, just maybe, this car might have raced someone on an empty freeway. Or option 2, a gang of 4 people, all blacked out, breaking into your house to steal your car, threaten your family with machetes, and if you fight back, well, they'll use that machete against you. In all seriousness, you, the average person, you'd be more intimidated by the latter. But if you're a judge or a politician, then clearly and obviously, it's the former, which is more intimidating. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for clicking on another Performance Nick video. You get to look at my beautiful face for the next 15 minutes, and I truly do appreciate that. Normally, we're making videos driving the M4 or the M3 hidden in the back, but today it's a little bit different. We're going with the same scenic background I used in my test drive video against that one lunatic in Texas, and that video is one of my most popular ever. And this topic we have to discuss. We have to actually talk about it. I was going to make a video driving around in the car and talking about it, but one, I wouldn't be able to focus as much on what I'm saying, and 2, we're in Melbourne. Last video, it was beautiful weather, and well, yeah, it's not beautiful now. So let me know, should I make more videos like this just at the house talking about important topics, or should we do more driving type content? Let me know, and that's enough yap. Let's get into it. This topic I'm so passionate about, and before I get into that, I need to give a shout out to Ross Reviews. He's a fellow Australian car content creator, and he was actually one of my inspirations in actually making this content, because there's no real other big car content creators, and he's one of them. He already made a video on this similar topic talking about machete bans versus car laws, and that's what this video is about, and I want to give my own 2 cents on it. He spoke about a lot of important topics and comparisons in that video, so please check his out after you finish watching this one. So shout out to you, Ross, even though I'm the smaller creator, and let's get right into it. As all of us Australian car enthusiasts and people who modify their cars and drive their cars spiritually know, in Australia, it's not good at the best of times. And a lot of the time, it feels like the government and the laws favour heartless criminals over, you know, people who just enjoy their hobby. If you live in Australia, and particularly my state of Victoria, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Pretty much every night on the news, we hear about another youth offender who's broken into a house or robbed someone or stabbed someone who's been let out on bail. Again, they committed that crime while they were already on bail. This is a stark comparison if we compare it to somewhere else, like Eastern Europe in Russia, or even a conservative red American state. If you commit a crime like this in any of those, well, you'll be looking at 10 to 20 years jail time, whereas here, another slap on the wrist. It makes me sick to have to quote what I'm about to say, but this is the truth. This is what has happened and is happening. There is no media bias or me leaving things out on purpose. No, I'm just going to read it how it is and the punishment for it. Example number 1, let's start close to the city, St Kilda. It's only a few kilometres out from the city centre. This beachside suburb is a very popular hotspot for people to come for the day. They've got Luna Park, you've got the beach, you've got a lot going on. A man was walking through St Kilda when he got confronted by another person. This person who was confronting him, well, he pulled out a machete and he told him, "This is a robbery, give me your phone." The innocent bystander, he didn't comply. He didn't hand over his phone. So the aggressor in this situation, well, his machete, he used it to stab the guy in the face. This does not sound like it's happening in Australia. It sounds like a third world country where someone's pulling out a machete in broad daylight and stabbing another person in the face. Hearing that, you would think this person belongs in jail for a long time. You can argue it's attempted murder, but you definitely can't argue it's assault with a deadly weapon. But anyways, let's just keep adding wood to the fire and build the story up a little bit. The guy who stabbed this innocent person, he was already out on bail for 4 counts. Let me read them out to you. Number 1, unlicensed driving. But what was the unlicensed driving? Number 2, carjacking. Number 3, you'll see a bit of a pattern here, robbery. And number 4, the biggest surprise of them all, assault with a weapon. But the good news is the perpetrator in this crime, he did get charged. Now, get ready for this. You might want to sit down like I am now. He got charged with 150 days in a youth detention centre. And best of all, he's out on the streets again now, and after his release, he made a rap song bragging about what he did.
Told a magistrate he was sorry, that he was ready for change. Now he's changed his tune.
Racing down the M1, speeding.
The teenager has composed his own rap song about his machete-wielding attack and posted it online, even sampling news reports about his crime.
Discussed over a St Kilda machete attack.
The young man boasting about knife attacks,
Put that Rambo blade in his chest. Oh.
thumbing his nose at the justice system that let him go free after a 5-month sentence.
You want another one? All right, I'll give you another example. How about a machete attack involving 7 people in broad daylight at a busy shopping centre on a Sunday? 7 people were involved in this gang attack, even though they claim it it wasn't a gang attack, but there was a brawl between 7 people using fists, knives and machetes. This caused one of the biggest shopping centres in Melbourne, called Northlands, to go into a complete lockdown, shutting and locking the doors because it was a threat to everyone inside. You ready for the best part, the kicker? Well, 5 out of the 7 people involved in this attack, well, they were already known to police and out on bail at the time. Now, as it stands, 4 out of the 7 people involved in the attack were let out on bail right away. But what about the big bad guy, the one in the photos holding the machete up in the air? What did he get? Well, he got 58 days in custody, almost 2 months, to then be let out on 100 hours of community service and to go to a drug intervention course. That's it. Someone who pulled out a machete and had a gang attack in a busy shopping centre on the busiest day didn't even get 2 months in jail and just got a bit of community service. Like, how is this even Australia at this point? People complain about, America and all that's so dangerous. Look what's happening in our backyard. You guys know me, I always leave best till last. So let's count the crimes together. There was a teenager who, 1, was driving unlicensed, 2, was driving high on MDMA, 3, was driving a stolen car, 4, driving double the speed limit on a suburban street, and 5, the full hand, well, he ran a light and T-boned an innocent person coming back from soccer practice, and he killed that innocent person on impact. And of course, the bad guy, he survived. Ready for the kicker? I'm not even going to joke around. It makes me sick. The guy was out on bail at the time. What do you even say? I already know what a lot of you are going to say. Thanks for the information, Nick. I didn't realise you're a crime reporter. Oh, I know. This is about cars, and I'm bringing it back to cars now. What I'm trying to get at and what I'm building towards is the fact that Australia isn't as safe as it used to be. When I was a little kid, and when my family moved here 20 to 40 years ago, it was a complete different story. Everyone came here and migrated here because this was the safest first world country in the world. Any country is going to have crimes and bad things happen, but Australia was known for being safe. You could walk down the street, you could leave your car unlocked, your house unlocked. You didn't have to worry about it. Your neighbours had your back. It was all safe at the end of the day. But in the last 5 years, Australia has been going in such a downward spiral when it comes to crime. If you ask your parents or ask my parents or older cousins or friends or anyone like that, if you ask them about Australia in the early 2000s or the 90s, it's a complete different story to what it is today. Back then, you felt a lot more safe, a lot more comfortable. You weren't as stressed and worried. Whereas now, it seems that there's so much crime happening and the government don't even have your back for it. They just want to make $1 out of you. This relates to cars again because back 10, 20 years ago, yes, it made sense the police went after cars. These guys are drag racing, they're doing burnouts, the cars are too loud, people complain about them, let's fine them, let's make some money from them. So it actually made sense because it was so safe, these things aren't safe, let's go after that. And I'm not arguing with that. But that was at a time when you'd go to sleep and your biggest concern was that you'd wake up from someone doing a burnout and leaving some black lines down your street. Unless you lived in a really, really rough neighbourhood, you wouldn't hear the stories about the carjackings and home invasions and machete attacks and gang attacks and all this stuff. You just wouldn't hear about it. You'd hear about these guys doing burnouts in industrial areas. I'll be reading these stats off my phone and I'll put them here on the screen so it shows I'm not exaggerating. Last year in just Victoria, my state, there was a recorded 73,000 arrests, meaning over 200 arrests per day. Crime was up almost 16% from last year, and the craziest stat is that aggravated burglaries have gone up 27% from last year. Not over 10 years, no, since last year. And this is heavily committed by people who are already out on bail because they know they can commit the crime, get locked up, get let out, and do it again. There are kids out there who have been arrested over 50 times, but they're bailed out and let out on the street because of their age, for example. And in the shopping centre machete attack I spoke about, well, the main perpetrator, he claimed he was on drugs and had a few mental issues at the time, so he got let out with a slap on the wrist. So what are they doing in response? Well, they report about it on the news, the judges do nothing, but you know what they report about? Oh, frontline news, cars are bad, modifying cars, speeding cars, burnouts, yes, let's get them. That's the biggest concern us Australians are facing right now. Even going up and down Chapel Street, for God's sakes, they made a big deal out of this. For reference, 2 young guys made this event called Bring Back Chaplaps. Chaplaps is a term here in Victoria talking about Chapel Street, the busy party street in Victoria, and back in the day in the 80s and the 90s, people would drive up and down Chapel Street, showing off their cars. Yes, they'd do a little burnout to give it a rev. It was just the car community coming together, and all the onlookers, most of them, they loved it as well, because they're waiting in line to get in the club, and you see some mad Holland doing a burnout. Of course, you're getting excited, because you're drunk watching them. So this event was made by these 2 guys just to bring back that car culture of everyone coming together and showing off their hotted up cars. Now, they did say we don't want people doing burnouts and illegal stuff, because 1, they don't want to be liable for it, and 2, they don't want the event to get shut down. Of course, when car guys get excited and the hype builds up, someone did do a burnout, and yes, they did do something illegal on Chapel Street. So have a listen to how the news describe it.
Hundreds of Hoon drivers have descended on Chapel Street, forcing the road to be shut down.
It sparked a targeted police operation that closed the late-night thoroughfare.
And best of all, how this this politician describes this event to bring back car culture.
Oh, it's absolutely disgraceful.
You want to know what is absolutely disgraceful? Well, it's someone kicking down your door, threatening your family with a machete, stealing your car, getting caught, and then getting let out on bail the next day. That is more absolutely disgraceful than a car doing a burnout on Chapel Street. And shout out to the boys who created this event. They said it best on national TV, and I really respect them for holding their ground.
Go out and behave in such a cavalier fashion should be absolutely condemned.
I'm sure there is probably bigger problems than us trying to revive Chapel Street. We weren't going out there to be hoons. We were just going out there to have a good time.
People in burnouts and on the back of tow trucks and cars and everything, but the majority of the people there were pretty well behaved.
And again, what's another big issue we can report on? Of course, it's speeding and speeding fines. I have to say it for the people who, they can't put it together in their brains. Yes, speeding is dangerous, but it is not our biggest concern right now. You go to America or Europe, everyone's going 5, 10, 20 over the limit, but it doesn't matter because they're all flowing in traffic. They're not doing reckless double the speed limit down a residential street. But here, no, it doesn't matter if you're going a few kilometres over the limit, even on the freeway, it's deemed extremely dangerous and irresponsible, and one of our biggest concerns and dangerous to safety in this country. This makes me laugh every time, and you Americans genuinely won't think this is real. Australia's top traffic cop got caught going 8 kilometres over the speed limit, which is 5 miles an hour, and this was his response to that.
Absolutely no excuse. I'm really embarrassed. If you exceed the speed limit, you will be caught. And you will be held to account. Now, whether that's me as the head of road policing or anyone who's watching this, don't be in the position that I'm in. You know what you should be more embarrassed about? Well, the people who pay you, the government and the politicians and the judges, well, they're more concerned about you going 8 kilometres over the speed limit instead of people riding around on our streets with machetes. Literally, look at these photos and videos. I'm not lying. People are just cruising around town with weapons out, loud and proud, which are clearly illegal, but no, let's make a big drama about going 8 kilometres over the speed limit. Let's worry about the car guys and the speeding, and even recently, the Kaizen boys made it on live TV, national news. As can be seen in these clips, these guys are riding around doing wheelies on the freeway. Again, yes, it's illegal, but they're only endangering themselves on those bikes. If they fall over, they're going to hurt themselves. God forbid they crash into a car, the chances of the person in that car getting hurt are very low, just the person who's doing the wheelie. It's not legal, it shouldn't be done, but why are you so concerned and fixated about making reports on this when we've literally got a crime crisis going on, but you're worried about the cars and the bikes? Again, and to put it in the most recent terms possible, this was put on the news recently, a week or two ago, in the middle of this crime crisis. They're reporting about another hoon crackdown.
Major police roundup has nabbed hundreds of accused hoons in a single day. They were all called in for mandatory roadworthy checks after being spotted at hoon meets across the city.
I sound like a broken record. Yes, burnouts are illegal. They shouldn't be done on the street. But why are we worried about this? There's literally a crime epidemic going on. People with weapons breaking into houses, doing all this stuff. The police and the government should be putting all their money and focus and efforts to curb this real violent crime, not making money off car enthusiasts. Because that's what it's all about. It's about the money. They can fine us and make money, impound the cars and make money. What money do you make when you catch someone breaking into a house? Nothing. You make nothing. It's complete lunacy to think me, a person who works hard with a full-time job, I do this content for fun on the side, I spend all my free time and money on these cars, these 2 BMWs which I love dearly, I feel like more of a criminal driving these modified cars than an actual criminal who commits crimes. I can guarantee you, me again, a legal tax-paying citizen, is more worried about taking out one of my cars and getting defected because it's too loud, or if I do a little burnout, I get the car impounded, or if I give it a little pull, I get a big fine and lose my license. I get more worried about enjoying my cars than a real hardened criminal would. I don't condone what they do, but it makes sense. If you can go out and commit crimes and benefit from these crimes, why would you stop if you know you're not going to get in any trouble or any consequences? And even that, I go out and it's 2 a.m. and I do a little burnout in an industrial area. Well, I know they can come to my house weeks later, knock on my door and take the car. Yes, that has happened. They will look into it and spend thousands of dollars and hours researching the crime I committed in an empty industrial area to take the car. Why would you not devote all that time and effort into, the violent crimes? With me being worried to drive either of these cars because of the monetary, time and car consequences that can come from this, I know there's a teenager out there who's driving around in a stolen car with a 15-inch long machete looking to break into another house, and he's less concerned about doing that than I am driving my cars because he's been bailed before and he knows he'll be bailed again. And even they know they break into a house and the homeowner uses more than equal force, as in they pull out a weapon like a gun or something, they know they can't do anything because the homeowner will go to jail because the self-defense laws are so backwards. So they literally have a safety net knowing the police won't do anything and the homeowner won't do anything. Whereas me as a car guy, I know the police will do something and there's nothing I can do about it. The priorities in this country and this state especially are so backwards, it's actually laughable, and it's just unbelievable. Like, genuinely, all you can do is laugh and just think, is this real life? You either have to be ignorant or blind to not see the reason they're doing this. They can make a lot of money off us car enthusiasts and create all this hype and drama about how dangerous we are so the public get behind it. Because when they defect a car, or they give you a fine, or they impound your car, they do any of this stuff, they are making money. When they arrest someone for stealing a car or breaking into a house, they make no money, and they let him out and they devote the resources to get him. Again, they're just losing money. Think of the police as a business. They're making no money from it. Yes, of course, they have an obligation to chase those people and stop them, but there is no profit to it per cent, whereas there's definitely a profit to coming after these cars. They know these car enthusiasts are not the most dangerous people out there in Australia at the moment, but they know that these car enthusiasts will always want to drive their cars because they love them, and they'll always be able to find them again and again and again and again, because we're not going anywhere. You love these things, they don't really care because they can make the money off it again and again and again. I'm going to leave you on one last fact just to think about it a little bit. Australia alone, every year, profits $1.1 billion from speeding fines. Australia alone profits $0 from stopping gang of home invaders breaking into houses. If you're being reckless or stupid, you're cutting up, or you're doing takeovers on a city street, I agree, yes, you should be punished. But modifying your car, or doing a burnout in the middle of nowhere, or racing someone in the middle of nowhere, who cares, man? And if you are one of these Karens who are more worried about a loud car going down your street than, you know, the machetes and crimes going all around, well, you're exactly what the government want. You're promoting the cause which they want. So, good job, you've pretty much been fooled into it, and you just need to screw your head on. Just use your brain for a second. Think. Thank you for watching another Performance Nick video. I appreciate you guys checking it out. I really did get passionate about this because it's so true and it's just unbelievable. Big shout out to Ross Reviews for inspiring me to make this video. Now go check out his video right away, and hopefully something can happen here, but I don't know. Let me know what you thought of this video style. Please consider liking and subscribing for more automotive content and content of these cars, and I really appreciate you all for supporting me and this cause. So I'll see you next week, and thank you for watching.